Hey, John from whatchawearing.com here. Going to give you a brief overview of the Samsung Gear S3 Classic. This is a great watch. It's fast. It's got a nice smooth swiping throughout the different screens. I think it looks good. It's got the classic silver bezel with a black leather band. The strap is easily swapped with other straps that are 22 millimeters in width. I have a whole bunch of fossil Q straps that I swap out with it, and just to change up the look. So the watch face you're looking at is one of the defaults that come with the Samsung. There's numerous watch faces you can choose from to change up the design. And basically what I really like about this watch is the user interface. So let's jump into that. We're going to first jump into the apps. So you press this button here. There we go. Whoa. There we go. So we've got, you notice how the apps are displayed in around the perimeter of the watch face. If you're more familiar with Android Wear, you'll notice that they have it vertical and you got to scroll up and down. I like this layout. That's just a personal preference for myself. I find it's really easy to find the app that I'm looking for. You hit this little palette color here and it moves you into the next screen for the next batch of apps, and then you've got another one. There's a watch face called All-in-One that works with this watch, and what's kind of cool about that one is you can actually select 4 of the apps to show up on the home page on the clock. These are apps that you would use frequently. If you find that you use apps often, at least a few of them, then you might consider that watch face. But for now, I kind of like just the classic watch face that I have. Anyways, these are the apps, and then you go back here. You can see how quickly that is. Now, if you wanted to use the rotating bezel, you can use the rotating bezel here, and you'll notice that little dot, which is the selector, is going through, and it just moves around like that. Okay, so one downside with Samsung is that it's a proprietary system in that it's not like Android Wear where lots of watch brands are using that software, and what results is there's a lot more apps to choose for the Android Wear, whereas with Samsung it's a contained system, it's proprietary, and so you're relegated to the apps designed for Samsung Gear watches. For me, that's not really a big detractor. I'd rather have a quality apps, quality performance with fewer selection, and so this really does have all the apps that I would need, and I'm sure Samsung's going to come out. There's going to be a lot more development with this because the Gear has been very, very popular, and I can totally understand why. So it has great functionality. You do need your phone with you in proximate distance in order to use a lot of these apps. Like, you're not going to get your notifications unless your phone's nearby. You're not going to be able to use the phone, but you can use the phone. Let's say your phone's tucked away in a backpack or in a pocket or something, and you want to answer the phone, you can do so. You can just speak it into your wrist. I've done it a good number of times. It's very, very convenient. You can also make phone calls with this as well. You've got your text messenger. I'll say this, and this is for pretty much any smartwatch. Don't count on using it to be sending out a lot of communications text-wise. It's in a pinch, if that's all you got, sure, you can do it. But really, I think you're going to find it frustrating, so much so that you'll dig out your mobile phone and do it that way. It's great for receiving, it's great for reading, especially emails and text messages, and then you can decide whether you need to respond and get your phone. One thing, I don't think I have it on here, I may have it on here, but I do have a Spotify account, and I wrote a whole post on the website about Spotify and Gear S3. It works really, really well. I like it. You can stream it via Wi-Fi if you have a Wi-Fi connection, or use the watch as a remote for the Spotify on your phone. And it works great. There was a delay in that integration coming out when the S3 launched, but it is out now. The date that I'm making this video is January 6th, 2017. Had to think about that, being a new year. So Spotify is in there. But you can use your Samsung Music also, but I'm a Spotify person, so I just use Spotify. Voice commands, not bad. It's sort of like the Siri or the Microsoft Cortana, and you can just put in whatever you want. And you really need to ask questions. Is going to be the best way to do that. This top button is the back button, so when you want to get back out to the previous screen, you just hit that. And if you want to get home, you just hit the bottom. Your settings, again, pretty simple to use. You can change your watch face with the style there, or you can notice how this display is so cool, right? I love it. It's really smooth. You can jump in and out, so you can change your display, you can set up your call, your messaging, all of this. So you have total control over that with the settings. You got your weather app. The S Health app is super. Okay, I love the S Health app. I'm not alone. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people wish it would integrate with all the other smartwatch devices out there and fitness trackers because it is such a great health app. I haven't decided whether I like it more or less than Google Fit yet. I think Google Fit's pretty good. It's, you know, one of those, what's great is Google Fit integrates with so many devices that, you know, it can be the hub. But anyways, the S Health app with Samsung is really good. And this watch has GPS and heart rate monitor, obviously, and then you just scroll through like this and you can check out, you know, how you've done with your various, whatever metrics you're tracking. So that's the steps for the day. I have so many smartwatches. The problem is I'm wearing different ones, so it doesn't really track everything all that accurately. But what I've done is I've made Google Fit sort of hub, and I've been able to sync the S Health with the Google Fit using the Health Sync app. I had to pay for it, but it manages to sync them. So, you know, if you're going to be using 2 or more smartwatches, a good idea is to think about how you can sync it all up. So you might want to research that before you buy them. And the reason I suggest you might get 2, at least at a minimum, is there's going to be one that you're going to want to wear, you know, whether you're in an office setting or everyday wear, and then that may not be the most appropriate watch for, you know, any fitness activity that you engage in. Like I prefer the Gear Fit 2 or some of the Garmin for gym, even Fitbit for gym. They're just designed, you know, they've got more of the rubber, the Moto 360 Sport. They have the rubber casing, so it's just going to, you know, be a little bit more appropriate. They're smaller usually. They're going to be more appropriate for a gym setting. So you just scroll through all the aspects of the S, and you can start your basic. What's cool about this is then you can, you know, flip through, and you can choose your activity type. And they've got a lot there, so you can just set it, you just hit it and then start, and then you're tracking it. So really simple, really fast to use. It's pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I actually really like the health tracking and fitness stuff display on this, more so than the Gear Fit 2. It's just, you know, working out with a larger watch like this, and, you know, with the silver metal casing, it's just not great for the gym. So I don't use it a whole lot for the gym. I prefer something designed more for the gym. But you know, if you're going to get one, this is a great watch for the gym. This is a great app. So we'll just go back there, and it's got heart rate. We'll go back here. You can compare. You've got the heart rate. That was pretty high. Must have been working there, doing something active. And you can change your settings. Is it a perfect health app? No. I mean, you know, I like weightlifting, and one thing, it has a limited number of activities that you can input. It'd be kind of cool if there's an easier way to manage, you know, weightlifting sets, but that's kind of impractical. I'd be better off just using the phone and input whatever numbers I need there. But when it comes to tracking like time spent on your cardio machines, it's great. It's perfect. It's a lot easier than using a phone because it just sits on the wrist. So for cardio, it's excellent. For just timing how long your workouts are and taking heart rates and so forth throughout the workout, it's excellent. If you're into weightlifting and you do very specific exercises, it's not really going to track that well for you, and it's probably more hassle than it's worth. You're better off using your mobile phone for that. So we'll go back to some of the other apps. Got your weather, and then we've got one that I like a lot is that I got a calendar there, which is pretty good. It's a little bit small there. You know, you got to sort of, you know, punch into the day, and then it'll pull up your events that you have put in. And, you know, I wouldn't recommend trying to add events to here. I would just use it as something to check your events. It's basically inputting data into these phones is not a pleasant experience. We've got alarm. We've got Flipbook, which you can set up for news headlines. It's, I think, more of a novelty than anything else. And then let's see here. We've got an email over here. Email is great. I do a lot of email, and you can check who's emailing you. And I don't use it to reply or compose, but what I do use it for is just to see what's coming in at a glance. A few other apps that I've added here, these over here on the left, these are internet browser apps. I wrote a whole article on the website with setting out which ones I think are really good. Some are better than others. It's really going to come down to personal preference though. But the important thing is there are internet browser apps for Gear S3. The question is, do you really want to browse the internet on a smartwatch? Frankly, I got it and I did it because I was interested in seeing what was available and how it would work and so forth. But really, I don't actually go on my smartwatch and go on the internet. I suppose in an absolute pinch, if I needed to, then I could. But I mean, it's so small, it's just very, very unwieldy. So those are your main apps, and that's the main functioning and display of everything. This is actually a pretty cool app. It's a little memo app. It actually works quite well, so you can create recorded memos that also do a quick text version as well. So that's kind of good for just quick notes. There's some shopping apps, I believe, for this as well. Not that I really use that too much, but they are there, and I imagine some people would find that useful. So let's just go back home. One final part here is when you scroll down, these are some more basic settings that you can quickly access, like airplane mode and your sound settings, display settings if you want to set it back. So with respect to battery on this watch, it's really good. It's another reason I really like this watch. Like, this makes it a full 24 hours for me. I usually charge it at night if I wear it all day, start early, wear it all day. I still got usually a 30% charge by the end of the day. I'm talking like 10 or 11 at night. You can see I've got a lot of apps on there. If I totally tone down the apps, I'd probably get more juice. I keep it fairly bright. I like my watches bright. So these are things that do use a lot more battery. And I could totally probably get a longer duration on there, but easily a full 24 hours with no problem. You'll find other smartwatches, some will not make it a full 24 hours. So it's good, but I do charge it overnight. I don't wear it sleeping. Besides, I would probably blind myself, when you move your wrist and it comes shining on in the dark. So I just charge it overnight, and it's worked really well. So let me just pull out the watch here from its case, and we'll take a look. By the way, this case doesn't come with Samsung. I just use it for the video. Sorry about that. I'm in an office and I have sensor-based lighting, and so I haven't moved, I guess, or I've been out of the sensors and it went off. But this case didn't come with it. I just use it to display the watch. I can't even recall which watch it came with. But anyway, let's pull this out. I'll just pause it and we'll take a look at the straps quickly. All right, here's the back of the watch. And what's really great about this is you can see right there, it says 22 millimeter diameter strap. There's this little pin here, and you just slide that out. Kind of hard to do and doing a video. There we go. Comes out and goes back just as easily. And then you can take any number of watch. Like I really like the silicone watch bands from Fossil. They're good, especially I'm going to be a little bit more active. And then I can just plug that in there, and I've got a whole, definitely check out, if you're going to get a watch that uses a 22 millimeter and they're easily, can be removed with this little sliding pin here, definitely check out Fossil because they have lots of great bands. And the last thing I want to show you is the charger, okay? You get a wall charger here that the USB will plug in right there, so you can plug it into USB to charge or straight into wall charger. That's nice. Most smartwatches I found come just with a USB port, and I usually like to have the option to plug it into a power cord, so this is convenient. I believe once you have one of these, if you get other smartwatches that just have the USB, you just plug it in there and it'll charge it as well. Now, finally, I want to cover the charger. I mean, it's not nothing, it's not amazing. The charger is not the most important part of these watches, but I must say it's a cool charger. Check that out. This is magnetic. Just slap the back on and it'll start charging. Now, I don't have it plugged in, so you're not going to see it, but it'll tell you that it's charging. And I can tell you that this is convenient because other smartwatches, the magnet's not very strong. It doesn't have a really good connector. They can sort of jostle, and before you know it, without you knowing, it's not actually connected properly, it's not charging. I've never had that problem with Samsung. Every time I just slap it on the back just like that, I know it's charging and I don't have to worry about it. So with other watches, you actually got to, finagle a little bit, or at least make sure that it's properly charging. So it's just a nice, convenient feature that I think Samsung did a really nice job there in terms of designing the charger. It's great. It's by far the best charger of all the 20 or so smartwatches that I have. This is my favorite. So Quite a bit of features to go over, and I definitely recommend this watch. I think it's great. It's one of my favorite smartwatches, but I want to caveat that with this. There is, I suspect Android Wear is going to come out with an update sometime, maybe 2017, who knows, and that may be a game changer in terms of the Android Wear smartwatches. They might be much better. And of course, there's always new watches coming out. There's more and more watch companies are jumping into this. More technology companies are making them. It's a growing field, I should say a product line. And so who knows? But for now, you can't go wrong with the S3 relative to what else is out there on the market.